Fantasy football season on its way, and fantasy drafts are going until the season starts now for fantasy owners. Here's the top 15 defense DSTs I'm ranking going into the year. The first one, the Denver Broncos. So last season, it was a great year overall for the Broncos. They came out of nowhere with Bo Nix leading the way at quarterback. But obviously, their defense went out there and they made big-time plays. It was this Denver Bronco team, and obviously led by one of the best, if not the best, corners in the league, Patrick Surtain, in that secondary. Then in the offseason, they added Dre. That's a big addition to their defense. And Nick Bonito, one of the better pass rushers over the last couple years. So this defense, they get to the quarterback, they make plays, they turn the football over, they keep points per game down as well to their opponents. I know they're in a tougher division in the AFC West, obviously. Kansas City Chiefs pretty much get to the Super Bowl every year over the last few seasons. Obviously, the Los Angeles Chargers, they got a good defense as well. And the Vegas Raiders, we know they're not a good team, and you could tee off, but they definitely improved this offseason, adding Ginty and Geno Smith to their offense. Go with Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers. But like I said, this Denver team get to the quarterback. They're well coached, they're disciplined, and they create turnovers and make plays. So this season going into the year, I have their DST as number one. Second DST is the Philadelphia Eagles. So the Eagles last season won the championship. And their defense obviously caused a lot of havoc getting to the quarterback, creating turnovers. And once your offense is up with a big lead, you're going to start teeing off and make it easier on your defense to go out there and make plays. So this defense, I know they lost some players in the offseason, no doubt about it, is the Philadelphia Eagles, but still one of the better defensive units over the last few seasons. And they still got guys that could go out there and make plays. And arguably some of the best corners in the league as well last season, where Quinton Mitchell, he shut down a lot of top wide receivers in his rookie season. And then the other corner last year, Cooper DeJean, Zach Bourne at the linebacker position with a big pick six in the Super Bowl, and Blankenship, one of the better safeties. So this defense, like I said, they lost players, no doubt about it, is Philadelphia. But they still got their core group of guys over there as this Eagle DST. And like I said, anytime your offense goes out there, puts points on the board, it's just going to be easier for your defense to make an offense one-dimensional, make plays, and create turnovers with that pressure that they get on opposing quarterbacks and that vicious pass rush, and one of the best secondaries in the league. Number 3, the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the Steelers defense has led them to the playoffs over the last few seasons. They've had one of the worst offenses in the league, but this defense every year just goes out there and plays great football. And now adding Jalen Ramsey in the trade, even though they did trade Minka Fitzpatrick to get Ramsey and Jonnu Smith in the deal with the Dolphins in the offseason. But this defense is loaded. TJ Watt, one of the best pass rushers in the league. Obviously Ramsey, like I said, Casey Hayward, an old vet, no doubt about it, 14 years in the league, but still one of the better defensive tackles in the league. Alex Highsmith. So this team, they're built on defense. They go out there and make plays. They got Patrick Queen as well, even though he's taken a little bit of a step back. But like I said, they got a lot of stars on this defense, guys who could go out there and make plays. They're in a division where obviously this high-scoring team, Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. But I still think this Pittsburgh Steelers team, they've always played the Ravens tough for the last 20 years. Those are grinded out type of close ball games for the most part. And this season, like I said, with a lot of Pro Bowl type of defenders on that roster, I think they go out there and make plays, and their offense should improve this season with Aaron Rodgers in the mix. He's an upgrade even at 41 years old over the quarterbacks they've had over the last few seasons. And Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, whoever you want to throw in there, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, I think the offense can help the defense as well. But like I said, you got 4 or 5 Pro Bowl type of guys on the defense. They're going to go out there and make plays. Number 4, the Buffalo Bills. So this Bill team, we know they've been one of the best offenses in the league for many seasons. And once that offense goes up, it helps that defense out big time, where they could just go out there, roam the field, make plays, and play loose. And this Buffalo Bill defense, they got some players on this roster as well. Craig Rosay, he had a couple good seasons. Christian Benford last season, he really stepped up. He's a solid corner for this Buffalo Bill team. Joey Bosa, big offseason addition to this defense to go with Taron Johnson, Matt Milano, Ed Oliver. So this defense, they got some names on it, no doubt about it. And like I said, anytime an offense puts a lot of points on the board, it's going to make everything easier for the defense. And also this division isn't that great in the AFC East. The Patriots, I know they're an up-and-coming team. Offensively, they're trying to get things going with Drake May, quarterback. Signed Stephon Diggs, Trevion Henderson they drafted in the NFL draft. And I know the Jets got Justin Fields to go with Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. But besides, obviously, the Miami Dolphins, where they have an explosive offense with Tua if he's healthy, Achane, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Darren Waller. I think this defense could go out there and cause havoc once again this year. And like I said, anytime you're playing with a lead, it just makes everything easier for the whole team, and especially a defense where they know they could go out there, play more loose, and ball hawk as well if they needed to. Next, DST is another great offensive team where it helps their defense in the Baltimore Ravens. So this Raven team, obviously, in a division with the Cincinnati Bengals, one of the high-scoring offenses in the league. But Pittsburgh Steelers, I don't think their offense is going to be great. And the Cleveland Browns, Joe Flacco, Shedeur Sanders, Gabriel, whoever the quarterback's going to be, I just don't see them great. So obviously, this offense is going to put up 30-plus points per game, most likely. And their defense, they got a lot of good players as well. Roquan Smith leading the way. Mabuke at defensive tackle, one of the better DTs in the league. Marlon Humphrey and Jair Alexander, they signed in the offseason. And also as well, Kyle Hamilton, a solid safety, one of the better guys in the league. So like I said, this defense, they got some players, especially adding Jair Alexander, that the Packers, they just didn't want to pay him anymore. And you had one of the better corners in the league ready to go with Marlon Humphrey. So you got two lockdown corners. Obviously, you're going to stop the pass a lot. And Roquan Smith, one of the better linebackers in the league. And like I said, another team that's going to play with the lead a lot. And this defense has a lot of good players on it, and they're going to make plays. Number 6, the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Chiefs last season, their defense carried them to the Super Bowl. It was better than their offense, and that's obviously anchored by defensive tackle Chris Jones, one of the better defensive pass rushers in all pro football. And then at corner, Trent McDuffie, one of the better corners emerging over the last 2-3 seasons since he's been in the league. And this defense, they play good as a unit. And this offense has to step it up, believe it or not, for this Kansas City Chiefs team, where I think this season, Rashee Rice, even though he might get suspended, see what happens there. The offense should be more comfortable coming into the year. This defense, like I said, one of the best pass rush defensive tackles, and Chris Jones getting to the quarterback, holding teams in the mid-teens, low 20s all season long. So if this offense could get on point now this season, after it was a down year last season, it really could help the defense even improve better, I think, going into the year. Number 7, the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings this year, once again, another change of quarterback. Kirk Cousins, it was 2 years ago. Sam Darnold last season, who filled in McCarthy, who was hurt. And now McCarthy's going to start a quarterback. But this defense, they've played some good football as well over the last couple seasons. And obviously, it's led by Jonathan Allen, one of the better defensive tackles in the league. Harrison Smith, one of the better safeties. Jonathan Greener, the good linebacker in there. And Byron Murphy Jr., a great corner. So they got some players on this defense as well. That division, offensively, they got the Packers to contend with. Got the Chicago Bears. And besides the Detroit Lions, those offenses are mediocre, I think, in this NFC North. So I think Minnesota this year, they're going to have to rely on the defense a little more, because you just don't know what you're going to get out of J.J. McCarthy. Even though last season with Sam Darnold, we didn't know what they were going to get out of him. And they put a lot of points on the board and made the playoffs, even though obviously they got bounced and blown out in the first round. But like I said, Minnesota, they got a good unit of players, coached very well. And I think this season they go out there and they are a top 10 defense in fantasy. And they're another team. If their offense could just be similar to what it was last season, makes everything better on defense. Number 8, the Houston Texans. So the Texans, they're in a pretty solid division where it could be a cakewalk for the most part for them once again this season. Tennessee Titans in that division, Indianapolis Colts, and the Jacksonville Jaguars, 3 teams that have struggled mightily, and they've been the class of the South over the last couple seasons. Here is this Houston Texan team, and their defense, they got some great playmakers as well. Derek Stingley Jr. already, he's been one of the better corners in the league, only 3 seasons in the league. Hunter, one of the better edge rushers in the league. Willie Anderson, he's been a monster on defense for many seasons. And you got also C.J. Gardner-Johnson as well in that defense to go with Jimmy Ward in that secondary. So this defense is loaded with some big names as well as Houston. And like I said, when you play in a division with some bottom half teams offensively, it's going to be easy when you play those teams 2 times a year. So that's 6 games on the schedule where for the most part, I know division games, anything happens, those ball games are close and stuff, but I think Houston with their good offense, they've made some adjustments this offseason. Obviously, Tank Dell out for the year. They lost Stephon Diggs in free agency. He went with New England, but they reshuffled the deck a little bit, bringing in Nick Chubb, where right now, opening day, he might start at running back if Joe Mixon's not healthy or Damian Pierce will step in. And also, Christian Kirk, I think for the slot's a good addition to fill in for Tank Dell. And also the rookie Jaden Higgins. I think this offense will put up points, and that'll lead to helping the defense. And like I said, they got some good names on that defense. Is this Houston Texan team? Number 9, Detroit Lions. Lions, one of the best offenses in the league over the last couple seasons. They're going to get Hutchinson back after he had a bad injury. He missed the majority of the season last year. Kirby Joseph, already one of the better safeties in the league. Brian Branch, another great safety. So they got a good secondary. I know they got to get to the quarterback a little more, but Hutchinson's going to help improve that after last season, especially in the playoffs, he was mightily missed. So this team, they're going to put up a lot of points. And like I said early in the video, the division, offensively, it could be hit or miss with the Chicago Bears offense. Obviously, Green Bay Packers, their offense, 1 year good, 1 year bad so far since Jordan Love stepped in at quarterback. But Detroit, like I said, they're going to put up 25, 30 points a game pretty easily this season. Explosive offense with all these playmakers. And it's going to help the defense a lot to play with big leads and tee off on quarterbacks. Number 10, the New York Jets. And the New York Jets, they got players on the defense, no doubt about it. But it always comes down to if the offense can put up enough points. Because this defense, how many times did it bend but don't break over the years with Zach Wilson at quarterback? Last season with even Aaron Rodgers at times, they had to hold it down where the Jets offense couldn't put points on the board. And now Sauce Gardner, one of the better corners in the league. Obviously, he's even more motivated. He got his money finally from the New York Jets after only being in the league 3 years and proven one of the better corners in the league. Quinnen Williams, one of the better pass rushers in the league as well for this New York Jet team. And Quincy Williams has got some players on defenses, New York. Like I said, though, their offense, we'll see what this offense can do. If it can help the defense stay off the field with Justin Fields in their quarterback. Believe it or not, I think he is an upgrade. His field over Aaron Rodgers entering the season. And this division was pretty tough for this Jets. Buffalo and Miami's offenses are juggernauts, obviously. But I think New York around the league could be decent still. One of the better corners in the league leading the way in Sauce Gardner. Number 11, San Francisco 49ers. So this 49er team last year was just one of those seasons you forget about and you move on to the next year. And I know they lost some players on defense, but they still got elite players, obviously. Nick Bosa, Fred Warner on that defense for them leading the way. So right here, you got a great linebacker. You got one of the better pass rushers in the league. And this offense should be a little bit better this season as well. I know Deebo Samuel traded away to Washington, but Christian McCaffrey was out all season, where last year, 49ers, they got behind early and often, and it didn't help that the offense turned the football over a lot as well. So as long as McCaffrey's healthy and Ricky Pearsall and Juwan Jennings, if he gets healthy before the season starts, could hold it down in the receiving room with obviously one of the better tight ends in the league in George Kittle. I think this offense, they'll be on the field more. They'll put up more points on the board, which always helps the defense. And also, in that NFC West, the Cardinals, middle of the pack team to me. Seattle Seahawks, we don't know what they're going to do this season with Sam Darnold in their quarterback. But the Los Angeles Rams, obviously, they're a juggernaut of an offense once again. I think they'll be this season. Number 12, the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers, last season, they took the next step with Jim Harbaugh, and he obviously preaches defense a lot. So going into the year now, you got one of the better safeties in the league, Derwin James. Khalil Mack, even though he's up there in age, he still could get to the quarterback, cause havoc, make plays. So I think those two players definitely can help this Los Angeles Charger team. And this Charger offense should be a little bit better this season as well. I like the addition of Marion Hampton. Got Keenan Allen back now after he went one season, got traded away to the Bears. And this offense should put more points on the board, and that should help this defense as well. And like I said, this division, Kansas City Chiefs, their offense has been up and down over the last couple seasons. Even though they made the Super Bowl last season, it was led by obviously their defense. Las Vegas Raiders, they did add Ashton Genty, Geno Smith to a Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers, so their offense should improve a little bit more. And the Denver Broncos, we'll see if Bo Nix could even get better this season or take a step back. So this division, I don't think there's a lot of juggernauts, obviously, offensively. And this Charger team, with their offense improving, can help their defense as well. 13, the Arizona Cardinals. So the Cardinals, they're in the division. The NFC West, where we'll see what happens in that West division this season, where got Seattle, got the 49ers, where their offense could obviously be better with Christian McCaffrey back in the lineup and healthy this season. And Arizona, they're just a middle-of-the-pack team to me, but obviously they got some good players on defense, led by Budda Baker, one of the better safeties in the league. Josh Sweat, one of the better pass rushers. Calais Campbell, we know he's been in the league over 15 seasons, but still an impact player at the defensive tackle position. Jalen Thompson at safety, and Gary Williams, an up-and-coming cornerback. And this offense, it should be better this season, I think. Marvin Harrison's second season, entering another year. Kyler Murray off the ACL, and Trey McBride, one of the better tight ends in the league. So like I said, this division in the NFC West isn't that scary, where I think this Arizona Cardinal team could go out there and be a top 13 option. 14, the Seattle Seahawks staying within the same division. So Seattle, they've changed a lot of things this offseason, personnel, some coaches as well they changed. And obviously they got one of the better secondaries in the league, led by Devon Witherspoon and Tyron Woolen, who's, to me, one of the underrated, obviously, corners in the league. And at safety, you got Julian Love, who's a ball hawk, could go out there and make plays. So this offense, pretty solid offense on paper, but we'll see. It's up to Sam Darnold if he can continue what he did last season, because he's got good receivers in Jackson Smith-Njigba, who had a breakout season last year, over 100 catches. Cooper Kupp, I still think he has something left in the tank for this Seattle Seahawks team. And also Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, one of the better 1-2 running back combos in all pro football. So like I said, the West offensively, they aren't that great teams. Obviously, 49ers, they should be a little bit better with McCaffrey. Arizona Cardinals, their offense is pretty good, but we'll see if it comes to fruition. Because on paper it's good doesn't mean, obviously, it's always going to translate on the field. And the Los Angeles Rams, obviously, one of the better offenses in all pro football, but I think this season, the Seattle defense, they got some guys in the secondary. They got ball hawks. They added DeMarcus Lawrence, even though I think his better days are behind him. A lot of injuries, and his sack numbers have gone down as well over the last few seasons. And the 15th and final defense DST I'm ranking is the Los Angeles Rams. So the Los Angeles Rams, their offense is going to be a juggernaut. Matthew Stafford, Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Kyron Williams. And that's going to help the defense a lot, where they're going to put points on the board. And like I said, they're in a division. It's up for grabs, honestly. I think teams are middle of the pack offensively, where I think on paper, this Ram offense is the best offense in the NFC West here entering the season. So the West is going to be a dogfight. I think a lot of close games could be mid-teens, low 20s with some of these teams. But like I said, this Los Angeles Ram team, even if they don't have a lot of names defensively, they find ways to be one of the better units, getting to the quarterback and creating turnovers. So that's the top 15 defense DST units I'm ranking entering the 2025 fantasy football season.